Let's make this part from our list of bonus points. This one will be 10F. We're going to try and make this part here on CATIA. I'll start a new part. We'll pop into part design. I'm just going to copy paste this name. We'll go to properties and rename this. The 4 X's are your student ID, last digits of your student ID, and you're going to put in your name. Also, we're going to rename the construction geometry. Make sure to switch to the feature properties tab where it says geometrical set. Define and work object. And we're going to sketch this on the XY plane. And I don't like the way the H's come in pointing down, so I'm going to hit normal to view, and that will flip this. But I like my X to go in the right direction, so I'm going to hit normal to view one more time. So I have to hit it twice. Whoops. Okay, and then I'll turn my grid on so you can see what's going on here. And I'm going to create the big circle first, which is 3.12. The fraction I'm really looking for is 1/8 of an inch. 0.125 is what that really should be. I just know that from being in production. I'm sure that was meant to be rounded to the 1/8 of an inch. That's how we do that out there. Okay, so 3.12 is going to be rounded to 3.13. So just be aware 1, 2, 1, 3 usually means 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to go to the sketch tab, select a circle, and start right at the axis. And the radius is 3 plus 1/8 divided by 2, because I was given the diameter, so radius is half of that. The only thing is I got to sum the 3 plus the 1/8. So what I can do is put parentheses before and after the 3 and the 8. So it sums up 3 plus 1/8, which is 3.125, and divides that by 2. I'll hit enter, and it automatically dimensions it for me. Because I worked on the axis, which when it comes to circles, it's okay, I can do that. Typically, I want to revolve everything around about the axis when there's a circle. So it's green because it's fully constrained. The next one we'll try and create is this circle here. Which is a 1/2 inch. Oh no, I'm going to create this big circle in the middle, because this is all holes right down the middle. These are all holes because I can tell these are all hidden lines. So this is a 1-inch circle. So I'm going to go with the circle, click again on that center, make sure it has that blue dot show up to let you know it's going to the actual axis there, 0, 0. Slide out, and that radius would be a 1/2 inch. So it gives me the inside-outside circle. I'll click off here in no man's land. You can see that it's green, it's fully constrained already. Now the next circle I want to create is this one here. That's at 2.30. So usually when they call the holes out, the bottom number is the nominal that they're looking for. So that's, this case is 0.4, a 1 inch, and a ½ inch. However, this is a construction line here. It's a center line axis. Let me know that all the circle's center points lie on that circle. So this should be 2.3125. Where am I getting that? That's your 5/16. Okay, so I know that's just a common one we use is 5/16. So I'm going to go with 5/16 on this one. This is going to be my construction circle at 2 5/16. So back to CATIA, I go create the circle from that center point and come out, and I can just hit the tab button and it'll go into the tool palette, and it is 2 plus 5 divided by 16 divided by 2. But remember, you have to sum that up. So I have to put the parentheses before and after the fraction, or you could have put 2.3125. I'll hit tab. That is my circle. That represents the center of where those circles are going to go. So I'm going to try and create another circle. Zoom up here. And it's kind of hard to get on it. I'm trying to get right on that circle. So that's why I zoom up real close. Another thing you can do is turn the snap off. Okay, if your action pad isn't up, you can do a right click, display action pad to show the action pad, and then you can turn the snap off, and then it's not going to jump around so much. And if I get right on that circle, it should give me that little symbol to the right saying it's going to be right on that circle. I'll click on it and I'll come out, and the size of that circle is a ½ inch. So that's this one right here. We got a ½ inch circle, which is 0.5 divided by 2, so you get a ¼ inch there. So I hit tab. I got a ¼ inch circle here. These little circles tell me it's coincident to that. So if this circle were to go down or get smaller, this circle here would know to follow it. All right. So we'll zoom back down. And there's 2 more circles the same size down here at a 30-degree angle from here. So these 3 here are a ½ inch as well. So I'm going to go to axis. Under the line command, there's an axis. Because it's not an actual part, this line is not going to represent the actual physical part. It's a construction line I'm using to locate the circle. So I'm going to use axis and go to the center. Make sure the blue dot shows up there. And I'm going to come down about 30 degrees. Just something that looks close to 30. And then I can come back to circle and select that circle. I'm going to zoom in close to make sure I'm getting right on that circle. Okay, so I get right on there and I click. And that also is a ½ inch. So I'm just going to, our ¼ inch radius, ½ inch diameter. Okay, so with it highlighted, I'm going to go right to the mirror command, and I'm going to mirror it about the Y vector. So I select this one here. With that highlighted already, all I got to do is select the Y, and it copied it. The only thing I don't like is Y. That should have came in green. It's not going to change me making the part, but I'm surprised it didn't come in green. Anyways, I'm just going to continue on here and build the other two circles. First off, I should have done something. Let me undo this. Let me try this again. With that highlighted, I should have went right to constraint and selected the Y vector. And then come down here and then click there, and that angle needs to be 30 degrees. Okay, now we can go to circle, zoom up close. Let's make sure I get right on that circle. That intersection. Try and get them both highlighted, and I click here. And again, I'll type in a 1/4 inch radius. With that highlighted, I'll go back to mirror. Select the Y vector. Okay, so I must not have had that linked up to the line in the circle when I did that. If yours doesn't come in green, don't worry. We're still at the beginner level, so don't get over panicked. It still will make the solid. Let's go ahead and create the next axis from here. Make sure that blue dot shows up so you know you're working at 0, 0. And then we got to come up to here. I think it was 20 degrees. And I'll put in a constraint. With it highlighted, just go right to constraint and then pick that Y vector. And I want to say it was 20 degrees. And I'm right. Okay, where I got that was this is 20 degrees. That's the axis I just created. And now I want to create that circle. That is 0.40. Okay, so I'm going to use that same center point. We'll go right to circle. Zoom in close. Oh no. I got the extension line for the angle kind of in the way. We'll see if we can get that. So make sure I'm trying to get the axis and the circle highlighted to click on that. And then the radius for this one is 0.4. I'm getting that from here, 0.4. Actually, diameter is 0.4, so it's 0.4 divided by 2, which is 0.2. And then with it highlighted, I go right to mirror. Select the Y axis, and it creates it. I don't know why. It looks like I got the coincident lock too, so I'm not sure why that didn't grab. I think it's because I should have moved this out of my way when I grabbed that, making sure I'm grabbing not on this extension line, but this circle. Anyways, it's a little hokey on that. But I just want to make this part. So what I'm going to do now is analyze this. You should always analyze this to make sure it's a closed profile. So as I pick on these, you can see which ones are which. So it's closed, and that is good. The only problem I'm having is this circle here is going to cause me issues. I'm going to close that and go to standard and exit out of the sketch. When I make this pad, or try to make this pad with that sketch already highlighted, you're going to get this intersecting error. That intersecting error, see that line? It's intersecting those circles. It doesn't know what to do with that circle right there. So I'm going to say okay. I'm going to open up the tree. Okay, so it doesn't like the sketch. I can cancel this and go into the sketch one by double clicking it, or you can modify the sketch on the fly. There's that little sketch pop-up window right there. If I click on that sketch, it takes me right here, and the problem is this line here, or this circle, is a hard element. It's actually trying to make a part from that. So when you click on this, the first time, this comes up, and you want to switch it to a construction element. With it being a construction element, when I click off of it, you'll notice it got lighter. It's not as thick. And if I zoom up close, you can actually see it's dotted. It's a construction line now, so it's not going to try and make a solid from that circle. And if you remember from here, look, this is a axis. Okay, so that construction line is just really an axis to locate these circles. It's not part of the actual solid itself. So when I exit out, I can make it whatever size I want. Make it a 1/2 inch. Okay, and there's your part. Now let's take a look at the drawing. What size does it call off? 0.188. And I happen to know when I see 0.188, it's 0.1875. How did I know it's 0.1875? Because I've done many of these drawings, and I know that if you look on the chart here at 0.1875, you see it's 3/16. Okay, so 3/16 is a real common fraction out there. So when they round it up to 3 places, they're saying that the tolerance on this is 0.010, 10,000ths of an inch. In production, we would say 10 thou. Nobody says 0.00 or 0.010. Nobody says 10,000ths of an inch. We just say it's 10 thou. That is what we're working to with the 3-place dimension at 0.1875. Okay, so 3/16, 0.1875. So I know when I make the drawing, it's going to be 0.188 if I go 3 places. But when I make the part itself, I want to double click this solid and change that length to 3/16 and hit tab, or yeah, 3/16. Select OK. So if you want to change anything on CATIA, you just double click it and you can edit that. All right, that completes this part here. If I hit the play button, I can see it from many variations here. You're creating everything inside the sketch, and it's just a nice simple part. One sketch, one pad. All the holes are located in the sketch, and you can change anything you want just by going to the sketch. Again, all I have to do to make changes to this is double click the sketch. I'm right back in here, and then I could go fix this thing here to figure out why it's not fully constrained. All right, that's good enough for what we're doing for our class. Okay, so go ahead, give it a try.